so much good stuff to learn when you're homesick. Because I am like a go, go, go kind of a person. And yesterday I was interviewing, I canceled a bunch of things, but I had a few podcasts this week. I just did one yesterday. This woman, Danielle Laporte, do you guys know who she is? She's amazing. She's amazing. Anyways, she's been on Oprah Super Soul Sunday and all of that stuff. And she said she didn't know that I was sick or anything because I tried to play it really cool. But she said, you know, being a workaholic is just like alcoholism or anything else, except that people celebrate you for it. I'm like, yes, that's true. So here I am. And you guys kind of see it, like how much I juggle with like 3 kids. And by the way, my kids are homesick. So you might get a surprise visitor from them. But my nanny will be here in like 30 minutes. So I want to spend some time today being here to support you. And I want to see if we can tease out how to kind of get you guys the edge and how to get you across the finish line and get you to meet these goals, because the new year is coming around. And I want to just remind you the fact that we wouldn't be teaching this class or doing this program if we don't get results from it, right? That would be ridiculous. That would be insane. That would be maddening. But you guys are seeing what's happening, right? You know, you see people getting things. And I want to give a huge shout out. You could tell I'm sick. I want to give a huge shout out to Tamara, because did you guys see her post yesterday? So, you know, this is the stuff every day. We got to kind of like fire ourselves up to remind ourselves, you know, that like we are in control of what's possible. We are in control, just depending on how much we want to put toward it, how much massive amounts of action we're going to take, and being resourceful and scrappy and sending emails. And it is possible. And I think that what happens is we fill ourselves with all of the reasons why it won't work so that we can get ourselves off the hook from having to do anything about it. But I actually, Tamara, I said to my team, I'm like, we should hire her. She's amazing. But I was doing that, just what I was doing. That's the big secret. You know, that's the big, you know, oh, what's the secret elixir? That's what I was doing when I was just on my own as a songwriter. I was just doing that, making calls, sending emails. And, you know, a friend of mine is right now applying to a job at a big fancy company. It's one of those, it's like a Google or an Amazon. It's like a big pie in the sky dream job. And it's a big position. And I said, you know, how did the meeting go? You know, how did the emails go? He's like, I don't know. You know, I haven't heard back. I'm like, so I drafted up to him the kind of email that I would send, you know, and had like a picture of his kid, and it talked about the holidays and asking them questions about, you know, what they were doing and adding in some personal touches. And he's like, this sounds insane. Nobody talks like this. I'm like, well, do you want to separate yourself from everybody else who's trying to get in? Or do you want to just be like another email that just, you know, kind of fades in? And I said, also, how much enthusiasm have you shown them? Now, I want to tell you something I just learned yesterday. I told you this woman was on my podcast, and she's been on Oprah a bunch of times, and she has a best-selling book. And she told me some data that I had never heard, and I loved it. She said that enthusiasm lights up in the brain more powerfully than knowledge, than passion, than compassion, than empathy. Enthusiasm. It's what we all want, right? And so I think that that's fascinating. But I think that we all want to feel wanted, right? We all want to feel like someone else has interest in us, like someone's excited, like passionately enthusiastic about who we are and what we do. And I think also just if somebody else is enthusiastic about what they're doing, that makes us all get excited, right? You see somebody else I mean, look at me, I'm sick today. And this is how much enthusiasm I have on a sick day, right? Like I'm wired a certain way for the things I love. Now, there's plenty of things I'm really not enthusiastic about, and we could go through a whole list of what those are. But I think that what you know, like using tomorrow as an example, because I think it's just like, for those of you who don't know, she posted in the group yesterday that she's been diligently reaching out to supervisors and ad agencies, and she's been having some traction. She's already gotten several placements from doing it. But then yesterday she got a brief from an ad agency, and she was talking about a big ad agency, an agency that works on huge clientele like Target and McDonald's, and they trusted her enough and built a relationship with her enough. And that's the key. And it's all available to all of us. There is nobody standing in your way. And there are people who come to our events and they say, you know, well, the best way to do it is to have somebody who's your agent and all of that stuff. And I get it. I mean, it's probably, you know, ideal if you have somebody who has relationships. And that's what we're here for. You know, we're here to sort of be the backup plan, to be reaching out on your behalf when songs come in that we like. And we have gotten people placements from the class multiple times, not just one time, but multiple times. So that's great. I'm so happy that that works and we can do that. But every single day is an opportunity for you to think about all the people who are sitting so bored at their desk, where they're sitting looking for music and they're not necessarily feeling a ton of enthusiasm day after day. You know, they've been at the job for 6 years or 8 months, or nobody really appreciates them anymore and they just have to do this job. And you reaching out and being interesting and sending an email that's unusual and that's not the same old, like if you read the emails that I get, you would realize why I don't open any of them. Like, I wish I could actually show you one from the other day. Where is it? Let's see. They all sort of get, it was the name of this guy's band. Oh God, am I gonna find it? I'd have to remember. Like, I obviously didn't remember because I didn't even, but when I opened it, I was like, this guy sends me the name of his band. That's the subject line. And then I always click just to see, like, what are people going to say? Is it going to be interesting? Oh, am I going to be able to find it? I think it was from like 2 days ago. And then, like, you know, cut to a guy who listens to my podcast sends me an email inviting me to his wedding, right? He's like, I love your show and I listen to your music and this particular song really spoke to me, and we're gonna put this song in our wedding vows, and by the way, I wanted to invite you to the wedding. And I was like, oh my God, that's so sweet. So of course I wrote him back because it was just such an unusual email. But I wish I could show you the kinds of emails that I normally get, and then you would realize why you really don't have any competition. You know, this is the kind of thing, it just becomes like noise. Can I even find it? I have so many emails. There's 63,000 unread emails in my inbox right now. But where is it? I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it. And it's not even worth it because it's not even a good email, except that it's on the top of my mind because it came in. Oh, how could I just find it easier? I don't think I'm gonna find it. Oh well, doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. Let it go, can't hold it back anymore. Can you tell that I have 3 daughters under the age of 7? You guys, I'm making you wait for an email that's bad. So I'm gonna stop. God, I wish I could just show you my screen. Okay, but I'm gonna show you my screen about something else. I'm gonna show you a message I just got about a placement, just because it's gonna get you guys excited. So I have a friend who's a supervisor, and she also is an agent, and we work together. Sometimes I have agent friends who have like different contacts than I do, because she lives in a different part of the world. So I'm gonna share my screen with you. You ready for this? Look. Okay, so this is just from the other day. I wanna just show you what's possible, okay? So this is my friend telling me about a placement. Okay, can you guys see my Facebook right now? Do you see my Facebook? Yes? Can you see my Facebook? Hang on, where is, wait. It was just from the other day. Here it is. Okay. Can you see my Facebook? Go like this, yes or no? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, do you see this? It says, I will send the invoice for $33,750. Do you see that? Yeah? Okay,
Yes.
this is from November 20th. What's today, the 29th? This is 9 days ago, okay? So we did an ad for Kotex, which is a tampon commercial, but they still pay. Doesn't matter what it's about. It was a cool song too. And the song was called Bold, and they already got $40,000 for it, and they want to do an extension, so they got an additional $45,000 additional for a song that they don't own. They licensed it, okay? So he says, can you issue an invoice? So I did. And then this is something different. Aside from that, they're interested in licensing the song for a ringtone. We're thinking about between 25 to 30,000 for Vietnam. Vietnam only. Are you reading it? Okay. So are you okay with that? We could go as high as 25. I go, that sounds great. I'll send the invoice. Okay? You guys with me? That's 9 days ago, right? So I reached out to the artist and I was like, every year, right before Christmas, you guys get a big check. And they're like, it's true. We have about, there's 4 or 5 artists that they keep making, a couple $100,000 a year. There's a reason why. They're not more talented than you. They're working their freaking ass off. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. By the way, I'm getting so warm right now because when you're feverish and then you think you're cold and then you're hot. Let me take this off. So I need you guys to see things like that, right? So you get the reality of it. Because I come on here, Sonic comes on, you're like, hey guys, why don't you write a song? And you're like, who has the time? For $45,000, you have the time, right? Do you have the time? You do. Because I'm trying to tell you that on the other side of that push, that big push, things start to roll. And then it's a little bit different, right? It's a little different because you get yourself into a couple things. One, you get yourself into a routine of that, and that level of work that you need to be on, like that level, and your work gets better. And you don't start then the next song from here. You're starting from here. Every time you go to write again, it's better, it's better, it's better. So there's a couple things. We have to be honest with ourselves, right? Going into the new year, be honest with yourself. Is it that you're not getting what you want and you're doing the absolute most that you can do and that you should do? Is it that you're doing a little bit and you're frustrated that the little bit is not going as far as you'd like it to? Is it that you're doing absolutely everything you can and you're realizing that this is not your path? That's also okay. This whole thing, this whole obstacle course of life, it's all awesome because it's all data. It's all information. We are living, breathing organisms. There is no there. There's no arrival. There's no I'm going to get there and then I'm there. We are a constant work in progress. New level, new devil, right? It's no matter what level you're on, you got shit to work on. That's welcome to my life. I'm like, once I make $1 million, I will be satisfied with myself. That's bullshit. That had nothing to do with it, right? And then I was like, I'll add a podcast, which will be purposeful. I'll have purpose. That is great. It helps. But you know what? I still have my own demons and my own crap to work on. And it's like a kaleidoscope. Every day I'm turning this kaleidoscope to figure out who I'm really supposed to be in this world. I still have no idea. I'm just trying stuff. I'm a complete experiment, right? So I want you guys to know that we have to look for the data, where we're supposed to be. You might figure out the thing you love most about this is just, you might figure out that you want to work in music. Sonic came to me a couple years ago. She's like, I want to do this. I want to work for you. I like this part. Yes, I like performing, but I really want to do this too, right? Okay, so great. She figured that out. Other people have been through this process and they figured out, I want to be a producer. Billy Loeffler started out as a touring drummer. He was touring with Avril Lavigne. He was touring big stadium tours. And he realized, I don't want to be a drummer. I want to just produce music. And he didn't even know if he was going to be good at it. So all of that is also fine. But before we can decide that, I think that we owe it to ourselves to do everything that we can so that we know, right, really where we're supposed to be. Because the world is merciful, okay? The world will let you know if what you're doing is your path. But the thing is that sometimes we're not pushing through long enough to even know. There's a story somebody just told me on Thanksgiving. I had a friend over, and he told me this story. Apparently it's a true story, and it's like a parable, but it's true, that there's this guy who was famous for like coming out to like the West in the gold rush. And he was digging and digging and digging. And he apparently, got, so much done. They were mining, looking for gold. It was the gold rush. And he dug like miles and nothing. And he gave up. And it was famous because the guy who followed that trail, right, the next guy, started where the other guy ended. And he was 3 feet from gold. 3 feet. So that's a famous story because the original person was 3 feet away and he gave up. Right. And so the second person was like, he already did all the hard work, but he just gave up right too soon. So this second guy like got all of the goods. So that's the thing that I think most people decide for themselves, what their destiny is before they've actually really gone, as far as they can. Like I have a friend who said he was on the podcast. He's a famous actor. He's on a show called Scandal. He was on The Sopranos. And he had everybody in the room stand up and stretch. And he's like, stretch. And everybody stretched. And he's like, okay, stretch as far as you can, as far as you can. He's like, okay, now put your arms down. He goes, now stretch again. Everyone stretches. He goes, stretch further than you stretched the first time. And then he's like, did you stretch further? And everyone's like, yeah. And he goes, but I asked you to stretch as far as you can the first time. So you can stretch further. So his whole story, now he has a house in the Pacific Palisades overlooking the ocean. He was just on Scandal. He's nonstop working, but he talked about what it was like slinging beers across a bar for years, like working on stuff, not getting it. And then he's writing a book right now. He has a podcast called 10,000 No's, like how many rejections it took before he finally got on The Sopranos, which then kind of like led him to where he is now. But it does take a certain amount of commitment, and we have to be really strategic about it. Like don't spin your wheels because you only have a certain amount of bandwidth. So you don't want to like set yourself up to work super hard and record a song that's not even worth recording. And then you took all your energy you have creatively for the month and spent it in the wrong place. Or you did a co-write with somebody just to be nice. You're not really sure if this person is like going to add anything. Be really strategic. Also don't go into the studio and just kind of wing it. Come in there with like a real sense of what are you writing for? Because everybody who you meet, those of you who were at our 2-day event, which was so much fun. All of the panelists, they all say the same thing. And I turned to every one of them like, you could teach the class because we're not saying anything different than what they're saying. They keep talking about how things have to have sections and builds and they need to be interesting and dynamic. So you use the time wisely. And, I ask Victoria and Sana and Emily, I look every month at how many songs come in and I ask them, is this it? And it's really shocking. Like if you knew the percentage of people who are actually writing songs, I would say that, 80% of people in this class, maybe submit 4 times in the year total. That's crazy, right? You have an opportunity, like we're literally working on these things all the time, which it's unusual, right? It's unusual that your track coach is also the one choosing people for the Olympic team. It's unusual that your vocal coach is the one casting the Broadway show, but we happen to have and people just don't turn stuff in. So then the question is why? The number one reason is that belief is not strong enough of what's possible, which is why I wanted to share my screen and keep showing you what we're actually doing so that you really have that belief, so that you're, if you knew that something you did that you had fun doing that took you 6 hours could make you, $45,000. And not just that, but that song has been licensed 5 times. So that one song has already made $200,000. I'm not joking. So if you knew that you could have fun and write a song, or that on the other side of writing enough songs that you could just do that full time and just make your living and pay your mortgage and stay at a nice hotel because you wrote music and you cared a lot about, you know, staying on top of that and strategizing and being aware that you have a client and really helping them serve, and also seeing what Tamara is doing, right? Like, these things work. So instead of giving up and saying, well, it never works for anyone, be honest with yourself. At the end of a Friday, how many emails did you send that week? Did you send 16 or did you send 4? Or did you send 0? Let's be honest. Or did you get to the end of the month and really send nothing? Because then, of course, you're going to be frustrated, right? We have this time. So I think you just have to ask yourself, you know, where am I at? You know, let's be honest. There are certain things where you get to a certain place and you're like, I don't think I wanted enough. Or maybe there's something else that's exciting me to do with my life. And that's also okay. That's probably amazing insight. You know, sometimes I've done things which I was so grateful to do because it helped me figure out what I wasn't, right? So that's also really good data. But I think we have to sort of tip our hat at anything that's frustrating or things that we are saddened by, because I think we learn things from that. So if there's things that you're feeling upset with, what can you learn from that about yourself, or, you know, sort of how you're showing up? So what questions, what struggles, what exciting news, what do you guys want to talk about? I want to listen and be here to support you. So who would like to share? Because I'm here to listen. Anyone have anything they want to say? Anyone? A lot of you are on your phone listening and you're not on video. Victoria said, I sent you a few questions. Okay, I'll check those out. Victoria, where's you? Oh, got it. Victoria just sent me this. Okay. Okay, so Julie said, I've gotten a couple of comments on one of my songs saying that at the beginning, the instrumental production sounds a little sparse, but gets better towards the end. I did that intentionally to create build. What are some things I can do to production or instrumentation at the beginning of a song without taking away from the idea that it starts smaller and ends big? Thanks. And I might be here live unless my lunch break ends before you get this question. Julie, are you here? Yeah, you are. No, you're not. Are you? Actually, I can't tell. Well.
Yeah, I'm here. Hi.
Oh, you are. Oh, there you. I saw your face, and then I was like, you are here. How are you?
Yep.
So
good. I'm at school, as you can see.
Cool. What do you teach there? You teach music?
1 day a week, I teach music at a Montessori school. Yeah.
So I think that it has to be ear catching, right? So we can definitely, we want to start in a place that has somewhere to go, but we want it to right away, like, grab somebody's ears. And one thing you can do is literally listen to the 3 tracks that you love that do this well. What do you hear? You know, how is it starting? One of the things that let me see if I can play it for you, because I love this percussion. Actually, is it in my, let me just do it this way. Let me see if I can play it for you. I have a couple examples that I can play you, but just this one, I want to play you this one thing because I love these claps so much. And this is the kind of thing that comes, listen to, I didn't do these claps, but listen to this. Do you hear those claps? They're so good. Do you know that whenever we sent that song out, people wrote back and were like, I love those claps, right? He's basically doing one of those. And he's doing it on his lap. So it actually sounds like, and it's like, whoa, what is that, right? Because you don't hear it. It's unusual. When I played you guys that Stolen Jar song, Do you remember it had claps like that? Hang on. It wasn't claps, but it was a percussion that was captivating just like that. Listen to this. How cool of an intro is that? I mean, it's so interesting to listen to. It sounds like rain is falling and you hear like and then you hear like the strings, and and it gets bigger. That song gets bigger, 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 but the beginning is so intricate. When we say sparse, it doesn't mean slow. It doesn't mean boring. It doesn't mean flat. It means mic it close. It means bring me in. Tell me a story small. Make it feel like something's about to happen and I'm really interested, and you're deliberately playing this one thing in a very intimate way because you want to grab me. Does that make sense? Let me give you another example of a song we licensed to Quaker Oats that starts off sparse. When I say sparse, it doesn't have to be one instrument. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Oh, there, I forgot. Sorry. I love this song. I love this song, and we licensed it.
Beautiful morning, forest the sunrise, end of the season, and the world goes by, and off we go, and off we go. No direction, no reason at all, wherever I end up, I'll take you along, and off we go.
It starts to build throughout the
And off we go. And off we go. And off we go.
I love that song so much. We licensed that song to a Quaker Oats spot. It was a little girl who's like a baby, then 4 years old, then 8 years old, then 10, 15. She was going through her life off to college. Beautiful, beautiful ad. Each one of those has a percussive piece that really stands out. And one supervisor told me that one of the ways that she pictures it is taking Maddie, come say hi to everybody. Come here. Tell everybody that you stayed home from school because you're coughing. Want to see all my friends? Yeah. Say hello. Say I'm homesick.
I'm homesick.
Say I have no school today.
No school today.
Oh, wait. Okay. Tell everybody, count to 10. Go ahead. Go. Show them how you can count to 10. How old are you? Wait, they can't see. How old are you? You're 2? Oh, good. Okay, what are you doing?
I can't see me.
You can see you now, right? I want to tell them something, so you're going to have to hush up. Hang on. What are you doing? What were you watching? You with Eliza? Did you spill something all over yourself?
Milk.
You spilled milk? Oh, good. So where's your stickers? Here, open this. Take these out. Take all these out. My friend, so she's a supervisor. She said, She pictures everything like a train ride. So she said, when I hear a song,
Coffee.
yeah, don't drink the coffee. It's yucky for you. She said she pictures everything like, you can have the water. Here. She said, you know, she takes the song and the song becomes like the train and the picture sits on top of that train. So that percussion, even if it's sparse, even if it's really simple, it makes her feel like things are moving. And especially if it's given that sort of individualized attention, it really pulls in the ears. And so I've been told by a lot of supervisors that that's something that winds up sticking out usually more than others, is like a very deliberate, percussive sort of build. Is that helpful at all?
Yeah, just the thought of its interest, not necessarily a lot of layers, but just something like a hook or something interesting that helps. Thanks.
There you go, take it. Don't spill it. All right, let me read this other question. What's wrong, Maddie? Here, let's see.
That's me.
That's you?
Look, that's me.
I see you.
I had a baby.
Yeah, you were a baby. Paul said, how long do music trends last in ad music? It feels like we are seeing a big influence of 80s music and themes since being used in ads right now. Where would you anticipate the trend heading? There definitely are trends, you know, there's like, I mean, I feel like we're done with the ukulele music, like completely. You know, it's a good question. I feel like I feel like you can never go wrong with this sort of like indie hipster vibe. I feel like that's a lot of what's going on right now. But yeah. Did you guys see the Apple ad for share your gifts? Did you see it? It's really beautiful. And it's a Billie Eilish song that's in there. And you know, I have to say though, a lot of brands, even though they think that's really cool, they won't use something that sort of like introspective and morose. They won't. A lot of the brands in Middle America are still going to go for something that has a lift because they feel like that's a little too avant-garde for their customer. You know, the Target and the General Mills of the world, they're still going to want to go a little bit more just kind of fun and more of an upbeat vibe. But that's why I tell you guys, Maddie, you're going to spill that water all over. Please don't do that. Come here. No more. No more. Hang on. What are you doing? You're going to be here now until Tomasa comes? That's not going to work.
He's this.
Who's this?
He's this.
These are all my friends. Who's on your shirt?
Pepper.
Peppa Pig. But they don't want to talk to you right now. You're driving everyone crazy. So can you go back to where you were in the playroom? What were you doing in there? What do you want to watch?
I'm Sophia.
Okay, let me give her something so she'll be okay. Give me 30 seconds. Come here. Come here, come here.
So, how's everyone? Hey, pretty good. Still raining here in LA, so it's nice. It is raining in LA. It was raining the whole evening here where I am. It was pretty nice.
I'll totally trade snow for rain.
Yeah, we got snow over here in Minneapolis.
The power just came off because of the rain here, though, so that's not fun.
What just happened?
The power went off.
Oh no. Sucks. Is that putting an end to the fire down there?
Oh, I think we needed the rain, definitely. It's helping. Well, now we're gonna see like floods and stuff probably somewhere. But yeah, California needs the rain.
It's pouring here, absolutely pouring, which is why I didn't send her to school because she was coughing throughout the night. And I was like, she's going to go to school in the rain, from the car to the school. She's going to get wet. She's going to get whatever. I just was like, I'm going to keep her home. So the real way to answer that question is, just keep doing that research. It's right there. We can hear what people are using. I don't know that I have a sense of where things are headed because, I hear people saying that they want rap music or hip hop, but that's only certain avenues. I do think that that's more than it ever was. But I don't think that that's really the stuff that we get asked for, but that might be in a particular vein. A lot of times when we are giving you guys these assignments, we're giving you sort of that inside scoop of like, here's what they're looking for. Here's the kind of references. We get weird stuff. It's kind of, I find that it's kind of all over the map, but then what's interesting is we keep seeing the same kinds of artists from our roster getting stuff. And I think sometimes the ad agency doesn't even understand as much as the brand themselves. I think that the ad agency is always trying to push things that are more creatively pushing the envelope. And I think the brands, they're executives who sit, with suits on in the Midwest, they kind of go back to the same kind of thing. That song that I wrote, Good Feeling, which I think I wrote it like 3 years ago, we just licensed it again last week to another big brand. So I think that you can never go wrong with a fun song that sort of mimics the kinds of vibes that you're hearing. There's so many references, there's so much. If you just go into YouTube right now and listen to the last 10 songs that were in a Target ad or JCPenney spot or Coke commercial, or Apple is a little on the fringe in terms of what they will choose. They will tend to choose things that are super cool. They're not really trying to be like anyone else. And it's a little different than what we generally, like if you look at the big box companies, Best Buy and Target and Lowe's and JCPenney and Walmart, that's all a little bit more similar. And what's good is that if you write for those kinds of things in mind, it comes up more often. But I think there's one more question, but I mean, my question to you guys is, let's see, is there one more question she sent? Actually, I don't think that there is. Is there? Wait, yeah, there's one more question. Marty said, why do some sync licensing agents only sign songs exclusively? I had someone ask to sign a song recently, but it had to be exclusive because they said the client will not place a song unless it is exclusive. What's the biggest difference between non-exclusive and exclusive? So some people are definitely like that. That doesn't mean that they're like weird. But, I've been in this business long enough to understand that it's not necessary and that you need as many people out there flying your flag and as many soldiers out there. But if you wanted to put your song with someone who you really thought believed in it and it might go, might go somewhere. You could kind of diversify your odds and give that person a song, and then have other songs that aren't exclusive. You can kind of decide, what you think is best. But I think it's really important to be our own agent and to reach out as much as possible, because nobody is going to wake up thinking about you every day the way that you will. No one's going to be as excited and enthusiastic about your work as you will. And no one will be as good of an ambassador, because even if they send your songs along, they're sending them in a folder with three other songs or 4 other songs. And if you want to get that attention, you have to find a way to get in the third door. Like this guy, Alex, I had on, who wrote this book, The Third Door. And he interviewed Lady Gaga and Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and Steven Spielberg. And every one of the people he interviewed was like a saga, how he actually got in to interview these people, because he was like a 19-year-old kid with no publicist. He didn't even have a book deal yet. It wasn't like he could say, I'm writing a book for someone's. He was just putting this all together in order to one day do something with it. And what he realized is not only did he have to figure out how to get in the third door with every person, but everyone he interviewed, that was their story of how they got in the third door. They didn't just take the first road. So I think the idea that you would have somebody exclusive that could potentially, keep you from working as much as you need to. If you want to set it up where you think that they're amazing, and you're going to give them that opportunity to have it for a certain amount of time, maybe a year exclusively, then make sure that you carve out the ability to still pitch it yourself. And maybe if something comes of it, then maybe they can admin the paperwork or something, if you think you need that. But the truth is, a lot of these agents, they just are like you, they're just picking up the phone and cold calling, or, even when you're on the list, so to speak, to sort of break through and be like, I was all excited because Brittany White from the Chop Shop Facebook friended me 2 days ago, right? And I told the team, she Facebook friended me. Like, I've known her for 12 years, but, we're now, I don't know, we're friends. But it took like 12 years, so, I think my nanny's here. That's a good thing. Hang on a second. One second. Yeah, I think Maddie spilled milk and everything. I don't know. On the couch, maybe. So I think, there's definitely a difference. As far as the actual music supervisor is concerned, if they get a song and it's pitched by a couple different people, that's really not so problematic. That happens every day, because sometimes a song is written by 2 people and each writer has a different agent. So they deal with that all the time. And sometimes people are having a couple people pitch for them. And what will happen is the supervisor will just sort of look at who they got it from first. They don't really care so much about that. That's not really a problem. The agents try to convince you that that's going to be a problem. Here's what it is. For an agent, it's hard because they only get paid when you finally make money. So they might be working all day, every day, pitching music, trying to get briefs. And then they only finally get paid on the one that actually goes through. So they wanted to be exclusive because in the off chance that somebody else would pitch it, then they would not even make money on that one, even though something that they did actually panned out. They're not making money. It's not like a publicist who you pay on retainer and you say, here's $3,000 a month to pitch me, whether something happens or not. They're only making money when you get paid. So that's why you're starting to see agents taking publishing and all of that stuff. But there's a lot of people who've been really resourceful in their own life, and either they're really successful at this point or they have other streams of income. So this is sort of a bonus, and they don't have to feel like they have to, take so much from the artist. And for me, since I am an artist and I know what it's like to wait around for somebody to pitch you and get so frustrated, I just didn't want people to necessarily have that experience. Although on the flip side, like with the Highfields, when they've been making over $150,000, sometimes $200,000 a year, it's a different story. Like, I feel like we are partners now in their business. Every single license they have ever had came through me. And so we had a conversation a few years ago. We made a completely exclusive arrangement, because at this point, I feel like I manage them almost. Like, everything they do, I'm, even, whatever it is, I'm constantly referring them work on every level. And it's a relationship that's proven itself, that it works so well. And I think it made me feel like it just sort of changed the way I felt about them. And, it's been good for us. But I'm very hesitant to do that with other artists. And when other artists come on, I'm like, let's sign them non-exclusively so I don't feel the pressure. But if I proved myself over and over again, I do tend to think, we should have signed that person exclusively. We had an example where Anthony Neves, do you guys know Anthony? He was in this class. He lives in Australia, and he wrote a song for one of the assignments called Let's Go. And we pitched it to an ad agency, and we introduced him through this class like we do with all of you. Sometimes we'll bring on a licensing agent or a producer to speak to you. There was a licensing agent, I won't say who it is, who he met, and we, connected them. And he also pitched him for an ad. In fact, we had pitched the ad first, and we had told this agent about the ad in case he had artists that he wanted us to pitch also. He then went and called the ad agency, who he didn't have a relationship with yet, and said, I heard that you're looking for such and such stuff, and I have this song. And the supervisor wound up licensing the song and gave it and did the paperwork through the other agent. And we were like flabbergasted, because not only had we pitched the song first and all of that stuff, but this was somebody who was in our course who actually wrote the song as a result of and anyway, it was an $80,000 pitch, right? That's how much they made. So I was a little unhappy, obviously, that they signed it through the other agent. But the supervisor wasn't upset that two people sent it. Do you know what I mean? He just was like, oh, and then because of the fact that I wouldn't want to hurt my relationship with them, I didn't even, bring it up. I was like, it's better that our relationship in the future is great than me calling a supervisor and saying, you shouldn't have licensed it through him. You should have you know what I mean? Like, that's so stupid. Why would I want to do that? It's not worth it. But there are cases where I can see where other agents would be like, shoot, those things do happen. But that's kind of the way life is, right? It's like we live in a free universe, and I think it's still better for me, even though those things happen once in a while and we might lose a little money, I still feel better non-exclusively for the most part. I've always felt better about that, because then I feel like I'm giving you guys every opportunity in the world, and that just makes me feel better, right? I just would feel terrible right now if like everybody was like, what's going on and how come it's not happening, and I'm so frustrated. And it's like, well, take as many opportunities as you can, and we will help you when we can. Does that make sense? So I'm curious, where are you guys at right now? Like, I'm curious where you're at in terms of your workflow. Like, are you feeling inspired? How many songs are you producing and finishing a month? Anyone want to chime in? Any struggles? I'm just curious, like, where you're at with your work.
I'll chime in.
Yeah, go ahead. What's up, Mikey?
How are you, Cathy?
Okay, nice to see you.
Nice seeing you too. Right now, I feel good about my workflow. Like, I was never a morning person, but I realized the only time I would have to actually dedicate to work would be in the morning, because when I teach from like 3 to 9 p.m., it's just like, once I get back home at 9 p.m., that there's like no energy. Kids like drain the life from you. So to me, that morning from that 8 a.m. to like maybe 2 p.m. is the most crucial, vital time for me to contact people to work on songs. And right now I'm getting 3 songs done a month. And then as far as instrumentals, I've discovered that I love instrumentals and instrumental work. And that's really fun. So I'm trying to do about 10 instrumentals a month, like different ones. So that's kind of like been my workflow. And then on top of that, trying to write at least 2 to 3 times a week.
That's amazing. Wow. So how many songs are you finishing at the end of the month? Are you finishing, how many like lyrical written songs are you finishing?
3 to 4 a month.
That's amazing. I would say that is more than ideal. It's okay. That is amazing. Who are you co-writing those songs with? Are you writing them on your own? Who's producing them for you? Are you producing them on your own?
So it's always like, it's sometimes shared production. Like I just finished up one with Marty, which was awesome. Like every time I've been in Nashville, we've been writing and it's been so much fun. It's been people within the class. I love co-writing. At this point, I don't like going it alone.
Yeah, I agree with that. What's the song that you feel most proud of over the last few months?
Actually, the one that I finished up with Marty, I really like. That was one of the smoothest co-writes. And I think he can chime in. Like that was he started messing around on piano and it was like an awesome little riff. And then we just delved in and wrote it.
Can you put the link in the chat so I can play it right now?
Yeah. Let's see. Some disco link. And happy early Hanukkah. I think it starts
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a great time writing that song. I think I sent it to Victoria or someone on the team just so that you've got it in case you're interested in it because we just loved it so much.
Amazing. I want to hear it.
I'm getting it. It's taking just a little bit. Technology, computers.
I know.
Kind of in the same boat as Mikey. I've just been swamped with trying to get caught up on songs. There's been so many, which is great. It's obviously a great problem to have, but I'm finally kind of getting where I feel I'm in a place where I'm just catching up with things, which has been so much, but that's a good problem to have, obviously.
Actually, Marty, do you have the link by chance? I'm trying to search my disco.
Yeah, I'll get it here.
But like through this class and the class before, it just forced me to co-write all the time because I realized you're not limited to where you live because there's the internet.
Right.
So it's just like the more you co-write, you realize how vital co-writing is because the ideas that you bounce off of someone else, they end up coming with something that just like takes the song to another level. And you realize you're not just limited in your box anymore.
Right. That's true.
All right, I almost got it.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I would love it if you're writing, all of you, especially though, when you're writing things that you're feeling are some of your best work, especially when you're writing so often and you're really ready. How often are you?
There it is.
Okay, are you going to play it? You want me to play it?
It might be better on your end.
All right, I got it. Hang on a second.
When the time comes, when the fall leaves, I find you standing there, my heart still in your hands. When the night falls, when the day breaks, I keep on giving in, the circle starts again. I surrender, I surrender. Will it always be this way? I surrender, I Will it always be this way? Will it always be this way? I can run down different pathway and be myself again. So back from where I've been, I should slow down, just slow down. I keep on giving, and the circle starts again. Oh, surrender.
Beautiful song. I can see why you guys like it. I love that piano and the lyric. I mean, it's a very full track. It's beautiful. So have you been thinking about what shows this would work for? I mean, this definitely feels like a film TV track to me.
Yeah, I've pitched it to a couple of things. I sent it to Andrea Von Forrester.
Yeah, that's a good person to send it to.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything yet, but she works on that show Yellowstone with Kevin Costner. And
there was an ongoing brief for the Talent House too, for I forget which show they were pitching, but they were looking for like dark, melancholy pop, kind of like. So that was one that we did too.
Send it to that.
I mean, I think that there's tons of places TV-wise where this would work. Yeah, I would think that, you know, this would be something I would be working on every day. You know, like if I knew that I had a song like this, I would be like, okay, what's the whole list of people working on shows like this? Every single one, from, you know, Freeform, which used to be ABC, you know, to the CW, to ABC, NBC, CBS, to soap operas. Like, who are the supervisors and how can I find their information? Because this stuff has, you know, when you feel like you hit something that works, it's sitting there in your, it's not going to do you any good, you know, sitting in your, so it's great that you sent it to Andrea, but she's just one person and she might be busy, and the day of the time that you send it might not be the day where she opens it. For some reason, she might get to it later and it's just buried sitting in there, right? What's in the way for you to find 20 more email addresses? Like, what comes up? Is it like, oh, no, I can. I just have to dedicate an hour to that. Or is it like, oh, no, I won't be able to do it?
No, I would say it's just carving the time. So it's like I'm from 8 to 9:30, I make time for just emails. So it's just carving that little piece and just focus on that one thing.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people, especially creatives, work really hard on the creative part, but then kind of freeze when it comes to the business part. And you're not freezing, you're both not. I mean, Mikey is like such a go-getter and I've known him for a while, and it sounds like, Marty, you already emailed her. So like, you're definitely not frozen in any way, but the amount of energy you pour into the creative, it's not necessarily equal in terms of your, you know, in terms of that sort of like, I'm just going to email as many people as I possibly can. There are so many people who would love a song like this. And you know, the Talent House, you just brought them up. So Stacey Slater, who started that like 20 years ago, she now has like 4 employees and she's been living off of that. She owns her own house in LA. She's been doing the Talent House for 20 years. Now, what's fascinating is they do all of these like usually once in a while they do a big ad, but usually they do these like $1,000 placements, as you guys have seen, or maybe you've seen, I don't know if you know, like $1,500. She makes a living off of that, right? My friend Kyler, she made friends with a music supervisor at Days of Our Lives, right? This is years ago. And they only pay $1,000, but guess what? They used a song of hers every episode. So it was crazy because they do an episode every day. So these soap operas, like the sky's the limit. Like you could be reaching out to the Shonda Rhimes, Grey's Anatomy people, but you could also be reaching out all of those people. Like, I would make a list of all of those people, and probably the guy at, you know, Days of Our Lives or Guiding Light or whatever probably gets hit up less, right? And if you become somebody who can funnel music to them, she was making like $50,000 a year just as her backup, just from one soap opera, because they just were like, oh, she's easy to work with and every single thing she has can be fit somewhere in this episode, and they need cues every day, right? So that's just something to think about. Now, I wanted to tell you just because since we've been sitting here, I just got a brief. Do you guys want to hear about it?
Yes.
Yes, please.
It just came into my email. It came in at 9:56, and you won't believe how much money it is. So I'm going to show it to you right now. Hang on. Here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just copy and paste it. Here. Can I just, come on, here, 1 second. Oh, hang on, don't worry, it'll be worth it. Hang on a second. Okay, I just took a screenshot. This just came in at 9:56. Can I? Okay. What I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna pull it up. Let's see. Okay, here, I'll just share my screen with you. That'll be easier. Share screen. Okay, do you see it says 9:56 a.m. right here? Yes? Go like this if you could see it, yeah? Okay. So, how do I move you guys so I can? Okay, so it's $50,000 to $100,000. Do you see that?
Oh my God.
Yeah. They need it by December. They need it by the 30th. Is that tomorrow?
Yeah, that's tomorrow.
They need something that connects. Lyrically, we're looking for something that connects she or her to colors. So they can't afford this Rolling Stone song. By the way, this is what I always say. I always say that it's fascinating to me that they'll pay an indie artist $50,000 to $100,000 because to them it's cheaper than whatever the heck this song costs, right? So this is a 12-month, they need the rights, and it's a license, it's not a buyout. So it's not they wouldn't have sent it to us if they needed a recognizable artist, which is why they said it's a plus but not a must. And by the way, they won't be able to get that for $50,000 to $100,000. We've worked with them on this brand before, but the focus is color. And how many times have we talked about songs about color? Have you guys written a song about color? Did you know that that's something that comes up? Is that news, or have you heard that before? So, I mean, you guys know my song called Let Your Color Shine, which we licensed to Walmart twice, right? And it was also in a Keurig coffee spot, and it was also on a couple TV shows. That song was not in the McDonald's spots. So there you go. But that's what happens when you guys are not here. That's what's happening. Like every hour or so, I'm getting an email like that. And that's why I wanted to create this course, because I wanted to work with a group of artists over a year time, encourage you, give you tools, give you feedback, help you with assignments so that you could get in a routine of writing music, and then hopefully you'd have music and then I could send it along. You know, it's a really simple equation. So, and I wanted to do it this way because when I just started the agency and people would send me music, I couldn't use any of it. And I was like, oh, I have to work with these artists and give them a sense of what we're looking for. So here's what's frustrating to me is that, the Highfields have a song about color. That's right. They have 2 songs about color. One of them has been licensed in Brazil to a Coke ad, and one of them they licensed to a Father's Day spot for a network promo. Yeah, what frustrates me about this, and this is a really good thing that this just happened, is I feel like a staple of this program is that everybody should already have written 2 songs that they love about home, about color, about coming together, about breaking the rules, about being an original. If you haven't, catch up, because this is why you won't have to then scramble to send something in by Friday, because every time we have somebody at one of these events or a supervisor on these calls and we ask them that question, so are there any themes? And they're always like, I don't know, I'm not sure. I'm like, yes, there are. You're lying. Like, there are themes. It comes up all the time consistently. Like, this is not a shock. We get songs like requested about these lyrics all the time. But you guys are now in the know. You showed up on this call. If you want to write something and send it in by end of the day tomorrow, go for it. And here's the good news. This isn't a rat race, because we are going to get a request about a song for color again. I guarantee it. I've been here long enough. I've seen it enough. So it might be worthwhile to do it, even if you wind up turning it in next Friday or 2 Fridays from now, because I guarantee you this is going to happen. So this should be a reminder to write that kind of song. Okay. You can just send them to me. If you're on this Zoom call live, how about that? Because you earned it. You could just send it to me at Cathy@catchthemoonmusic.com. And I'll send it through to the team if it's something that I feel like we pitch. So what's next? Anyone have any last minute questions? I have a doctor's appointment at 11, so I'm going to leave soon because it's raining and I got to drive there. Here's a question. Kaylee said, Cathy, I have a question. You mentioned you're pitching directly to ad agency. Is it okay to reach out directly as an artist? If there's a company we think a song could work for, who's the best person to send the song to? Like, what's the job description? Great question. Yes, you can reach out. There's no reason you can't. If you're a human being and you have Wi-Fi, you could send an email to whoever you want. You could send an email to Barack Obama if you want. Send an email to whoever you want. The person you're looking for. So you can go in a few different ways. I would not reach out to a creative director because they run the entire thing and they're very impressed with themselves, and they're not going to be the ones working on that specific part of the ad anyway. I would send it to a broadcast producer. Broadcast producers at that agency work on various ads that they have going on. So you might reach out to a broadcast producer who you could find in LinkedIn. You could go to Google and type in broadcast producer, Ogilvy, Chicago. Broadcast producer, McCann, New York City. Broadcast producer, Saatchi and Saatchi, and just name a city. You can go to their website. They'll show you where they have offices all around the world. And then you can type into LinkedIn, broadcast producer, this agency, this city. There's thousands of people you could possibly reach out to. If you wind up reaching out to someone who doesn't work on that spot, you could ask them to refer you to the person who does. You could also reach out to the business affairs person. The business affairs person is not going to creatively choose the music, but they're going to be the people who have to clear it. So if they like you and they know that you understand clearance and how things need to be one stop and they're not going to be expensive and the fees are going to be doable and you're not going to cost $150,000, they're going to be inspired to let their creative team know to work with you, because they're going to say they're the ones responsible to clear it. So what happens is the creative team picks everything they want. They say, here's the song we want, here's the director we want, here's the actor we want, and then they send it to business affairs for them to try to make the deal. And oftentimes the business affairs team is given an impossible mission. They have a certain budget and they can't afford it. And they have to go back and go, you have to find another creative track. We can't afford it. So if you go in through business affairs and you let them know that you're easy to work with, things are easy to clear. They don't have to call 15 people to clear a song. They can just call you, and that the fees are going to be reasonable. They might refer you to the creative person. And then when that creative person gets your email, you were referred by Kristen Smith, who works in business affairs. So you're coming in a little bit cooler, right? You're sort of parachuting into the top floor rather than walking up through the bottom floor. So try that. So yes, some of you are saying you made edits to the songs that you sent. Yeah, send them to Victoria and Emily, because they listen to those and then they sort of send me the stuff that they're like, should we sign this? Should we pitch this? But yeah, how are you guys feeling right now as opposed to how you were feeling an hour and 13 minutes ago? A little bit better?
Pretty darn good.
Good. So what came up today was reality check of things that are happening. That's exciting, right? Every time you see that, I think it like plugs you into what's possible. That's really important. We reach for the highest branch that we can see. So the more you can see it, the more you're going to reach. So I'm glad that those two things, I mean, I can't make this up, right? Like it's like they're just two things that happen, something that happened in real time and then something that was very recent. I was able to show that to you, so that's good. Okay, that's one thing. That's really important. The second thing is this song has to do with color, and that's just a really important piece to end on because we started the conversation by talking about our work ethic and understanding what we're good at and what we're not good at. And until you've written a song about coming home and together and color and breaking the rules and being an original, and you've written a couple of them to the point where you have one you love, you can't really say that you've really done everything to clean your side of the street, to do the best you can on your side of the road to see if you can make a go at this, because that is what I'm telling you. And I've been saying it since the first probably time you saw me on a webinar, is that there is a method to the madness. And I hope that you will take heed of what I'm saying. And it's exciting, you know, what we talked about, the fact that Mikey's writing, 3 songs a week. That's really impressive. You guys got to put that elbow grease into reaching out to people. I want to hear it. I want to see it. I feel like I've said this before, but if there's anything you're going to learn from me, I hope it's actually that part. It's about, being proactive and having that assertiveness in a very personable way. I actually think that that's probably the thing I'm most talented at, and it's not really my songwriting. I think that sort of just came along for the ride. So if anything, I hope that you will walk away with a fire, the way that like Tamara's been reaching out every day. Reach out every single day. She got herself on a panel. She was literally sitting as a panelist because she reached out so often enough, and the way she reached out was so well and personable and assertive, but not too assertive, that the guy said, oh, she said, I'm going to be in town for Cathy's event in LA. I could just come up to see you in San Francisco. And he's like, why don't you be on a panel and talk about what it's like from an artist perspective? You're on another panel? She just said she's on another panel. I love it. What, like, come on, right? It's not about how tall you are. It's not about, what if you're a soprano or a tenor. It's about, like, are you the one just squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? So we got to do this coming into January of next year. You got to commit, right? We got to commit to this. So please do that. please decide to do that. Eliza, you want to say hi to everybody? Come here. Come. They haven't seen you yet. Okay, come here for a second. No? It's my 5-year-old. Everybody's home today. Later tonight, they're going to get to go see a show. What are we going to see? We're going to go see Wicked. Have you seen it? I bought them tickets to Wicked, and I kind of wanted to cancel because I don't feel good, but I'm going because that'll be a memory forever for them. We're going to go see Wicked? Okay. Guys, this was good. We're going to do this again. Yeah, I've seen it 3 times also. What a dork. I've seen it 3 times. But I've seen Dear Evan Hansen 3 times, and that is even better, if you can believe it. Guys, so are we going to do something different after today's call? Please? Come on. Yes. I want to be able to pitch your songs. I'm sitting here ready and willing to do it. Come on already. We can do it. All right. I really like seeing you. And let's get fired. I'm sorry that I missed Monday. I felt like garbage. But you wouldn't have wanted to see me on Monday. Anyways, I want to follow up with you and talk to you in a couple weeks. I'm going to come back in a couple weeks, and we're gonna pick up where we left off. I would love to hear. You know what? If you actually go ahead and do it, how can I reward you? I'll send you a Christmas present. Please do it. I'm telling you to do it for yourself. Please start pitching your songs. I don't even get anything from that. I'd love to hear that you got yourself, like, that's the best. I'd rather you win than me pitch it for you, but I'm happy to pitch it for you too.
Cathy, I forgot.
I guess that would be ideal if you sent me something and I can pitch it, but I would rather you have it so that you're doing this for yourself every day.
Cathy,
I want you to break through. What'd you say, Marty?
I got to tell you, when you're asking Mikey, you know, how many songs we're pitching or whatever, I have been pitching. The week before you guys had the live event last month or whatever, we had a music supervisor event here in Nashville that I got to go to. We had 6 different supervisors here all from LA, from Disney, Fox, an independent guy, Twitter, Hit the Ground
Who are they? Let me see their faces.
Chris Allen Lee, Katie Gavilet, Lindsay Klowitz is from Disney.
Lindsay, we've had her at our live event. She's so sweet.
Okay. Marielle Jade from Hit the Ground Running, Michael Gross from Twitter, and Shannon Murphy from Format.
Oh, Shannon. I only know 2 of those people, Shannon and Lindsay.
So Lindsay, we got to pitch through a website we got to pitch 2 songs to any of these people that we wanted to, and I pitched to Lindsay and to Katie through that website. But I've since emailed all the rest just to touch base and say thank you for being there, and you know, try to make a connection to that. So actually, Lindsay, I'm trying to find out how to contact her directly through her email, because the song that I pitched her was a song that I wrote that for the animated movie that you guys are wanting us to do.
Well, guess what? When she was at our live event, which was a while ago, it's like a year and a half ago, she gave everybody her email address who was at my live event.
Okay. I don't have it. I wasn't there.
I know, but because she gave it out, I feel like I can give it to you. So email me.
Okay, I will. And the reason is because the song that I sent, I had to go back and make some changes on it. So the link that I sent her originally, it doesn't work anymore.
Okay, so email me, okay, Marty?
Okay, thank you.
I don't want to inundate her with like 300 new people sending her emails, but she gave it away. She's been to our event twice. She's the cutest. Who met her? Has anyone been and seen her at our event? We got to bring her back. We got to bring her back.
So, just wanted you to know.
That's awesome. But we gotta break through the third door. You know, you can't be sending emails only through these, like, you know, where they have you send them through a site. It's like all these, like, just sort of squeezing through this and that, you know, and I know you know that. I want to just get you guys around. Like, instead of being gridlock on the 405, I want to get you guys through the canyon. I want to get you those other ways in, because this way is too crowded. Do you know what I'm saying? That makes sense? Yeah. Because you're so talented and you're hardworking. You know how rare, everybody has a little talent. Not everybody has the hard work ethic, and you do. So you deserve it. You know, that's the thing. Like, you can meet so many people. You're naturally talented. Great. What are you doing with it? You're sitting around. Okay. But you're working hard. So you deserve this. So you gotta know that and fight for that. And, people would be happy to meet someone like you. Like, you're such a nice person and you're easy to be with and you're talented. It's like, whoa, what a concept. An artist that doesn't sleep till noon and it just sits around like you know, like you're one of the 1% of 1%. So you deserve it. Guys, you made me feel better. I felt like garbage about an hour ago. Also, my husband's on a business trip, so I've been up with the kids. My daughter woke up like literally. I should start an underground society when I'm up in the middle of the night. I was up at like 12 to 4 o'clock. I gave her Motrin. I just kind of, it was a battle just to get through a night of sleep. So you made me feel better because I felt like garbage this morning. So see, you did that for me. I really love seeing you. I hope this was helpful, but the only way this is going to be helpful is if you take what I'm saying and go do something about it. And I know it's going to be a little bit out of the comfort zone or uncomfortable or weird or whatever. It's just going to get more comfortable as you do it. Okay? I promise. Please have a great day. Please stay in touch with me. I really appreciate your time and everything. And thanks for being flexible with my kid being here. I know that it's not professional, but it's called reality of my life today. I really love you guys. You make me happy. So many times people are like, why are you still doing the music stuff? You have no time, and your podcast has taken over like an amoeba all over your face, and I can barely see straight. And I'm like, because of this. So, okay. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and you're going to work on a song about color, aren't you? You are. And even if you don't turn it in tomorrow, you're going to turn it in because you know we need it. Because just the idea that you can make $150,000, come on. That's ridiculous. How many other professions could you do that, doing something that's fun? This is what's insane about it. You know, it's not, I have friends who are realtors, which sucks. And then they sell a house, and then they make 3% of one side or whatever, the whole thing. And then they give 40% of that to their broker. So they walk away with like $12,000 for like horrible work, right? And look what you can make, not from selling cars, but from writing songs. Yes. Let's do that. All right. So I'm going to talk to you in a couple weeks before the holidays. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.